Hello, everybody. This is Victor here from Trend Following Trading for Beginners, and here's my weekly update on my sample trading portfolio coming up next. Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another week of my episode. This week is the market is rather quiet, all because we have, of course, the Thanksgiving, and Thursday basically was non-event day. But over the week there was something else similar to last week or last couple of weeks basically. Another vaccine news coming out. This time is AstraZeneca, Oxford University. Initially, it says its effectiveness is about 70%, so it's not as good as the other two vaccines a couple of weeks ago. But basically, after it came up with something else on Tuesday, saying that if we check it dosage, then it can be as effective as 90%. So this one is more, to me anyway, from what I understand. It's easier for transport, so it doesn't need to require, be minus 20 or 50 or 70 degrees for freezing storage facility. And so it's easier to transport and administer as well by the health authority. So it should be quite a good candidate. But then on Thursday itself, it came with some more news. Apparently, they made some mistakes. Some of the test patients actually given much lower dosage, and that's where the result comes through. And this is basically showing us that the vaccination testing, phase 3 testing, still need quite a bit of hurdle and verify out their result. So whatever the market is basically using those vaccinations availability news to drive the market up, and it sort of did this week to another effect. And also on Tuesday, Donald Trump finally gives a sort of green light to White House transition to let President-elect Joe Biden's team to start talking to White House staff and try to have the transition moving on almost 4 weeks delay, that kind of thing. But this is happening, so the market take that to be a good sign as well, and then drive the Dow Jones up to above 30,000 for once. Actually stayed there and ended above it. I think about 30,050 or something like that. So that at least it's broken it and stayed there. But then the next day it come back down to 170 points or something. So it lost the 30,000 mark. And Thursday, of course, is Thanksgiving. Friday is sort of like a half-day event, and then it initially down 150 points for recovery, and up the day up like 40 points, that kind of thing. But still lost as a week, still not managed to stay above the 30k mark. So it's just saying, the market is using the vaccination as a way to pump things up. So it just like it does give you that feeling that the market maybe it's going sideways. It needs this up and down thing to try to get people, maybe from institutional investors to retail investors to take over the shares or something. It does give you that kind of feeling here. So the more it stay above this 30,000 mark or thereabout, the more I sort of smell a rat, because just like Warren Buffett said, the underlying market, the stock market will become a weighing machine. At the moment, we have COVID-19 still flying around, and unfortunately, with the Thanksgiving coming up, people want to go home with their loved one, which is understandable. But that's another event to spread more virus around in America, especially. And then we have Christmas coming in about a month's time. Then that is another chance to spread the virus to around the world, that kind of thing. And how is that going to happen for America, especially? How is that going to refer to number of new cases detected in America for COVID-19, and how the medical staff go to support it? And of course, we haven't got this another financial help package from the White House yet. Donald Trump is more interested in trying to get himself re-elected or stay there and try to make trouble for Joe Biden. But then, on the other hand, we have people dying, and they are not actually doing much, basically. And just feel sorry for the U.S. citizens there. But that's just how things is. So I sort of think in December, given the the Thanksgiving and the Christmas event and people gathering. They're just similar to the election week when people gathered without much protection, and then 3 weeks or so later, like now, we suddenly see a big jump in COVID-19 new test cases. And it'll be similar to for this event as well. So I was saying possibly middle of December we have one big hiccup again because due to Thanksgiving traveling, and then Christmas. So there will be another in mid-January sometime as well. So this new high thing probably is far from over. And with that in mind, and then economy is not really opening up in America yet, so to speak. So I just don't see how the market stay above 30,000 or thereabout or even higher. Just the general fundamental is not there, but like we all do in trend following, we don't really care about fundamental, even though staring right in the face, the pink elephant in the room. But it just the market seems to select not to listen to it, not to look at it, and it just gave me this feeling that people are more or less the big institution now finalizing the end of year calculations, market books, and start to think about bonuses and stuff. And so it just feels that the market is sort of hold up by the big banks just to give themselves more leg room to do calculation, and then something might give. So just have to wait and see, but things, as far as I'm concerned, continue like this, just smelling around. Of course, the other thing that happens over the week is, if you're a football fan, well, Maradona, the legendary Argentinian footballer who helped Argentina become won the World Cup, died at age 60. I think it's from a heart attack or something. Very, very sad. But that's more or less happening over the week. So it's quite quiet in the market-wise because Thanksgiving coming up, and it's just the market going down. But the big thing is Dow Jones at least did stay above 30,000, even though it's one day, it's rather brief. But at least it's trying to go up there, but see how it goes. Of course, the other thing sort of show up is on Friday, I believe. China suddenly put 200% tariffs on Australian wine, and China's accusing Australia dumping cheap wine on the Chinese market. And of course, the Australian government denies it. But it just sort of, irrespective you agree or not agree what Chinese action is, but I think from a third-party point of view, looking from outside, I do feel that the Chinese government, the communist government, is just trying to teach Australian government a lesson, especially in Australia, is sort of in tune with America, so to speak, to ask for the origin of the COVID-19 virus itself to be checked. And of course, everybody seems to be following, a lot of people anyway, following what Donald Trump is saying, is pointing fingers to COVID-19 to the Chinese government or some Chinese lab somewhere. And of course, the Chinese government is very unhappy about it, and it has probably nothing much it can do with U.S., but to other countries, I think Australia case in point, and most likely later on with UK as well, which is not stepped properly with the Huawei issue. I think China is just going to use its strength to basically say, okay, whatever it is, I either overlook or didn't dig before, or just make up some trump up some charges, and then against any government that's basically not nice to them, so to speak. And this is basically Australian wearing the brunt. So initially saying COVID-19 causes a lot more racial hatreds and violence against Chinese students. Then next to say Australia had outbreak of the COVID-19 just like the rest of the world, and actually kind of fight vocally to against, advice against Chinese students go to Australia, that kind of thing, which is not very good. And now, of course, it's Bali or something. Output from Australia also being put up to around 80%, now 200% with the wine, Australian wine. It really does go to hurt Australian market, but just want to see how it goes. But obviously they have the the signing of the ESAP whatever last week with the 15 countries including Australia. So hope there's something will get sorted out soon. But I think overall China is just trying to flex its muscle. But you know where it's learning from then? China learned this from America, as far as I'm concerned. America used to use American dollars to weaponize it. So it's basically say anybody who help anybody has been sanctioned on the sanction list, like some Russians, politicians or something, the Chinese government, then stop them from using U.S. dollars. China basically uses that, the bullying tactics, and use any other country who sort of like not in a very nice China. So it's just not very nice going on at the moment. But of course, the other thing in UK as well, it's more for UK stuff, is the tier 2 or new tier systems coming up from after December the 2nd, when the England general lockdown finishes. I think that's Tuesday. They talk about different tiers, and T3 much of the north of the country, United Kingdom, and then T2 is the rest of the country more or less. So me and Bath is on T2. Still some restriction, but it's not as bad as the T3. However, I think on Thursday or Friday there's a problem with Aki, the owner, which owned the Talk Shop, number of clothing shops in UK. I think about 300 shops there. Into basically, according to the administrator, basically go to some sort of voluntary bankruptcy protection things in UK, and that's affecting loads of people, loads of jobs and stuff. And this sort of bring in line with a lot of these Dow Jones actually, or the indices around the world being so high up with the vaccines are available. People has lose jobs as well, but also a lot of shops are not getting rent. People are not able to pay rent because they lose their job. A lot of eviction has been delayed, and then also the government spend loads of money. That's increased possibly taxes or local taxes coming up. All this coming in the mix will probably show its ugly head next year, after basically this December when Joe Biden went into power, so to speak, in the White House. So I think the next couple of years more like this kind of ugly things will show up. There's a lot more eviction going on, job losses, homelessness, and tax increase, and also thing, and weakening of US dollar as well, because he tried to bring more money to help people in need, so to speak, in America. But then it causes a lot of anything that's rated in US dollars to go up. That's going to cause quite a lot of what you call maybe interest rate going up, inflation and so forth. We just have to see how it goes. But I think overall more like stagflation happening when inflation happening, but people don't have the money to buy things, and the economy is not recovering, so to speak. So that's just going to be not a very nice situation, but that's how it goes. And we just have to see how the market react. But I think next year could well be a more problematic year. We just have to wait and see. Next is my update on my portfolio coming up. Okay, first off the bat is Apple. Same as last week, short term is a buy, medium term is neutral, long term is a buy. Next is Amazon. Short term is a sell, medium is neutral, but long term now changed to buy. It's quite volatile with Amazon lately. Next is Australian dollar against US dollar. Well, this time, it's buy across the board. Short term, medium term, and long term is all buy. So S2 system, the Turtle system 2 is actually it's a buy for that as well. It just basically reflects on the US dollar index. It has gone below 92. It took a bit of time, but I think on Friday it gone below that to 91.8 or something. And then Australian dollar against US dollar has been staying above 0.73 mark, so it's relatively good. So overall, Australian dollars against US dollar is a buy, it's more or less predicted, and just continue to stay buy. Next is Brent crude, basically same as WTI, US crude oil. Both of these are essentially buy. Short term, medium term, and long term is a buy. So it's above 200-day moving average, above the 2 ATR lines, and the Turtle System 2 system also says a buy as well. So the US dollar index definitely is helping. when it's going down, it's helping grow. But also, so with all these vaccines that's going on, no matter how trust or not trustworthy yet at this moment, because not actually been used in the field yet, but there's hope, and the market is always looking forward. So yeah, then hopefully the vaccine help people kind of moving around, minimum within their own country, fellow countrymen within their own country, or some international traveling. So definitely Quiddo, I think next year is the next year play, and then now it's sort of showing itself to be ready to be on the move. Next is DAX in Germany. Short term, medium term, long term is all buy. So it's slight change from last week, and S2 system to medium term is changed from neutral to buy this week. Next is Dow Jones. Continue from last 2-3 weeks. It's basically buy all the way around, short term, medium, long term. One thing to note though, again on Monday, basically there's another little spike on Tuesday as well. But then they also talk about Yellen, to be head of Treasury or something, and the market basically used that news, basically shot up to just about 30,000 and stayed there for one day. So 30,030 or something, or 70 mark, but then the next day just basically come back down again, and that 30,000 basically is not broken, it's just trying. So we just have to see what Dow Jones is doing. But I said before last week, when this this week is basically end of November, next week as well, early in December, basically people start, calculate the end of the year bonuses and how the funds is working and so forth. I think it'll be slightly holding on a sideways trade for now, but I think probably middle of the month, when it does settle down a bit, there might be a bit of more volatility. The market might come down, but just have to wait and see. That's just a guess, but as a trend follower, you don't really care about those guess or hunch or fundamentals. You just follow the rules. The rules say buy. So for Dow Jones, buy across the board. Next is FTSE in UK. Same as Dow Jones, buy across the board. So short term, medium, and long term is all buy. Gold, basically sell across the board now. Essentially, Monday and Tuesday, another jump in Dow Jones causes the gold price gone down and broken the 80-50 areas, and then continue went back down to actually go even be below 1800 areas. So now it's just below the 20-day moving average. So as far as I'm concerned, all three systems say it's a sell. We just have to wait and see how gold is. But there's still something up your sleeve yet, because December normally is a quiet quarter, so to speak, or November, December, basically the last 3 months of the year, and it basically a lot of chances going down, but next quarter, Q1 in 2021, probably come back up again. But we just have to wait and see. However, the system trend following says going down at the moment, so we just have to sell. Next is Hong Kong Hang Seng Index, same as Dow Jones, buy across the board. There's no surprises here. Short term, medium term, long term, all buys. Nasdaq, basically all buy it again now. So this time is pretty good. They're trying Nasdaq trying to be going above the 12,000 mark, which it has, and then stay roughly there. So near the new high, or they're about the high that it made about 3-4 months ago. So it's buy across the board, so stay in there. Nikkei in Japan are similar to, again, the Dow Jones as well, so buy across the board. So index across the board, all the major indexes are basically all more or less on a buy mode. So all those index players who bet on index, they're on longs at the moment, and should make quite a bit of money lately. Next is silver. Silver, similar to gold, short term is a sell, medium term sell, but neutral for long term yet. So for silver, haven't broken down yet. That's not as much as gold, but when gold goes, silver seems to follow. So we just wait and see there. But definitely it's not looking good. Next is US dollar against Chinese dollar, Chinese yuan. Basically, sell across the board. There's not much difference for last month, more or less. Basically, yeah, Chinese dollar is strengthening and US dollar is weakening. I think probably go further down when the dust settle, when Joe Biden, president-elect, actually go into the White House, and then they have to pass some more bills to give people financial help in America, and the U.S. dollar is good to go down a bit more. So I think currency-wise, and anything that based on U.S. dollars probably will go up. So this is the Chinese dollar seems to have gone ahead and showed the world how things are first. Similarly for US dollar against Japanese yen, it sell across the board, so that means Japanese yen is rising. Normally, you should see what we normally see is Japanese yen weakening when Dow Jones is actually rising, but this time it's doing slightly different things. Dow Jones hover around the 30,000 marks, 2950, broken the 30,000 marks, and it might have failed this week to stay above it. But you have thought U.S. dollar against Japanese yen, people will basically short Japanese yen, but it's not. It's actually, I think it's basically show quite a bit of US dollar's weakness, which causes Japanese yen to strengthen. So it's around the 104 yen per US dollar mark at the moment. So basically sell across the board. Next is British pound against Japanese yen. It's buy against the board, and as well as British pound against US dollar, buy across the board. So British pound in general, for against Japanese yen, it's buy, so it's showing its strength, but also British pound against US dollar, because US dollar weakness is also showing its strength as well. It's a bit, for me, it's difficult to understand this, but as well as the trend following system said it's buy, then it's buy because the price making action, especially for British pound against US dollar, is about 1.33 marks, even though we have Brexit talks, and we only about a month to go to hard Brexit exit from the European Union if there's no deal. So I just don't see how British pound actually can strengthen, but the market seems to think otherwise. So as a trend follower, just try to follow the trend and buy for British pound at the moment. Next is Bitcoin itself, or short term, medium and long term still buy. Bitcoin has I think has made a new high during the week, but then it's subsequently just tumble back down to about 18,000 area. So we just have to wait and see. But yes, it was a buy for like 3-4 weeks already, according to my analysis. And yes, short term wise, it's gone down quite a bit, during the early in the week. So short term is a sell. There are people talking about going various way. One is going up to 24,000 or something, or 21,000. The others are saying going back down to 15,000 or something lower. I don't know what in store for Bitcoin, but as far as I'm concerned, the 280-hour system says a sell, so watch out. There might be a slight change of direction here. Next is iShare 20 TLT ETF. SPY for short term, medium term is neutral, long term is still a sell. So this one I thought is only doing slightly funny thing as well. I thought it will sell across the board because Dow Jones is making new highs, so it's Nasdaq and stuff. But the TLT ETF seems to be doing sell. It's short term is a buy, only long term is a sell at the moment. But so we just wait and see. Something a bit odd coming up as well. Next is Tesla. SPY across the board, same as last week. Basically, there's talks of basically S&P basically said Tesla will go in, and that was before it was before announcement was below 500, and within this week basically gone up like 10-15%. So it's now like 580 or something area. So it's quite a lot of changes for this week. So we just wait and see what happens. As far as the trend following goes, it's a buy across the board. Next is Australian index, is buy across the board. It's very similar to Brent crude and WTI crude oil. It's about 20-day moving average, and it's moving up. So just have to wait and see. As far as I'm concerned, I just stick with the trend following. There's a lot of oddities actually happening in the market at the moment, but as far as I'm concerned, we're trading human emotion. Like Warren Buffett said, long term, you probably become a weighing machine. And for the stock market, especially Dow Jones, to go this high when loads of people are out of jobs and the economy haven't even started to come out or do any recovery yet. People still queuing long term in on the food bank in America. I just don't see how Dow Jones can be so high this one other than to say the Fed's pumping so much money. They might have to go somewhere, and it's gone into the stock market at the moment, and it seems to be going around the world. All the indexes is going up. But let's see how long the party lasts. We just have to wait and see what things might be later on. But just watch out any signs of changes, and don't fall in love with your share price or index or cross. When your system say go, then just go. Okay. So that's the end of this podcast, and I'll speak to you next week. Bye for now.